Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Elizabeth Ann Yanez. Yanez died on Friday, October 17, 2014, in the 13900 block of Alondra Boulevard in Santa Fe Springs, according to LA County Coroner records. Reggie Cervantes was subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. On the evening of October 17, 2014, Elizabeth Yanez and her two adult children, Daniel Crable and Renee Crable, decided to go to the Santa Fe Springs swap meet. Yanez drove with Daniel in the front passenger seat and Renee in the back seat. On the way, Yanez drank the 12-ounce beer and Daniel drank most of a 32-ounce beer. That same evening, defendant Reggie Cervantes and his girlfriend Brenda Rangel were at a dog park when defendant received a call from his mother. His mother told him that she and his sister were going to the Santa Fe Springs swap meet, but she needed some cash. Defendant agreed to meet his mother at the swap meet to give her some. He and Rangel drove to the swap meet in defendant's sister's car. For ease of reference, we will refer to it as defendant's car. Rangel drove and defendant was in the front passenger seat. The parking lot was very full when defendant and Rangel arrived. As they were driving around the lot looking for an open space, Rangel saw a man walking down the road and asked if he was leaving. He told her that he was. She followed him the wrong way down a one-way road. The parking spaces were angled, so she went past his car and waited for him to pull out so she could back into his space. There were no cars coming toward her when she first stopped to wait. A few moments later, while Rangel and defendant were waiting for the parking space to open up, Yanez and her family turned into the same road going in the correct direction. The road was only wide enough for one car to drive down. Yanez drove toward defendant's car and stopped 15 to 18 feet away from it. Daniel got out of the car and walked toward the driver's side of defendant's car, telling Rangel to move the fucking car and making gestures to her to back up. The various parties gave different accounts about exactly what happened over the next few minutes, but the differences are not relevant to the issues raised in this appeal. What is not disputed is that eventually everyone got out of their respective cars and engaged in some sort of physical altercation with one or more of the occupants of the other car. At some point, defendant pulled out a 12-inch screwdriver or knife and was swinging it at Daniel. Defendant did not make contact with the screwdriver knife, but did hit Daniel's mouth with his fist. Daniel fell to the ground, but got up quickly and ran to the next aisle while yelling for security. In the meantime, Yanez, who was 43 years old, 5 foot 8 inches tall, and weighed 238 pounds, and Rangel, who was 18 years old, 5 foot 3 inches tall, and weighed 120 pounds, were engaged in some kind of altercation. According to defendant, Rangel called out for help, and he saw that Yanez was holding Rangel by her hair, and Renee was hitting her. He ran over to them and hit Yanez with his fist 2 or 3 times to try to get her to let go of Rangel. Renee didn't hit him, and he shoved her away. He turned back to Yanez, who had her back to him, and tried to push her away. When that didn't work, he stabbed her with a screwdriver. Yanez fell face down. Defendant and Rangel got back into the defendant's car and drove off. Daniel came back to the scene after calling for security and saw his mother laying face down on the ground. He went over to her and rolled her over. Her eyes were open, but she didn't respond to him when he tried to get her to talk or grip his hand. Yanez was pronounced dead at UC Irvine Hospital shortly thereafter. Forensic pathologist Young Sung Kim performed an autopsy on Yanez. Dr. Kim reported there were 2 stab wounds on Yanez's back. One was located almost at the midline nape of Yanez's neck, just to the left and very close to the spinal cord. The wound was 3/8 inch wide and 2 3/4 inches deep. The second wound was located at the inner top of Yanez's left shoulder and was 5 to 6 inches deep. There was bruising around the wound, most likely caused by the part of the hand holding the weapon. Both wounds mostly cut into fat tissue, and neither wound could explain the cause of death. Dr. Kim opined that the weapon used was a sharp-forged instrument that could be anything from scissors to a knife. When asked whether it could have been a screwdriver, Dr. Kim testified that was unlikely given the features of the wound. Dr. Kim testified that the cause of death was an acute cardiac event during an assault by another, and that the stabbing was a substantial factor in the death of Yanez. Defendant Reggie Cervantes was charged with 1 count of murder of Yanez and 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon on Daniel with a prior strike allegation. The jury acquitted defendant of first and second degree murder, but found him guilty of voluntary manslaughter and a lesser included offense, and acquitted him of assault with a deadly weapon. The court sentenced defendant to the midterm of 6 years, doubled under the 3 strikes law, plus 1 year for the prior. Elizabeth Ann Yanez was 43 years old at the time of death.